crazy kooks. We put up and too long. Let's drop a bomb and prove that they were wrong.
No, I didn't choose. I
kill a
didn't
bunch of
choose
liberals.
that intro song to be divisive. I chose it to be humorous because I love thy enemy, even though I want to bomb them.
Wow.
I just hope they can, dodge the bombs. I could bomb them, and if they're not quick enough to move away from the bomb, it's their problem, right?
No wonder they're beating us up in the streets. It's for this stupid song. Thanks, Rich.
Welcome to Conservative Parents with Liberal Kids. Episode, I guess, is 13.
Yeah, something like that.
God bless. Lucky 13.
All right.
2020. Friday the 13th passed on 2020, and now it's episode 13. My Lord, what a year.
It's been a year.
So I hear that Trump may no longer be president. I heard a rumor. I heard
that's all fake news.
That is
I heard
totally
it's fake news. Oh, you people out there,
fake news.
Fake news.
I heard he won and he won big.
He won huge.
And I heard that it's
Big
all
league.
rigged.
Let's start with some basic news.
It's all rigged.
Okay. That should make you think like, what's that old song? Things that make you go, What
It's
happened
not a
today?
song, it's
so we
Arsenio Hall.
had one county yesterday discover a little chip that had 2,600 uncounted votes that ended up in a net gain in Georgia. And what county? Clayton County or something like that?
I don't remember the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what? So 800 votes out of almost 14,000 we need.
Mm-hmm.
When I say we, I mean the right side of things.
Yes.
Okay. And so obviously that's not going to change the election in Georgia, let alone the national election. But when you start having other crazy similar shit happen, like what happened today, Jason?
Well, there was a second county that they found 2,700 votes that hadn't been tallied, and now they need to look at them. And I've also heard that there might even be a third, and they're just going to keep looking, and there's possibly more.
Okay, so
This is all in the same state?
yeah, in
Georgia. They're all in Georgia.
Okay, so it just makes you go, Okay, and one of the things I wanted to discuss today, and I know it's going to sound to those who don't ascribe to my political view as we're just desperate to find something. But I just want you to, for those who don't think like me or agree with me, just for a moment to kind of like, okay, do the what if. What if it's possible? Just do that for me.
Just humor you?
Humor me, yes. Okay. Because news reports from the Trump team, I'll admit it, the Trump team, said they have come across significant evidence through witnesses and affidavits that have been sworn to and put in court that we have voting software in all these counties which stopped the counting the night of the vote that end up going dramatically into the blue column, we'll say, the next morning after the election.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that happen? How did that become where we're accepting that as, oh, that's legitimate because it just happened that way?
Right.
And it turns out that, according to the allegations, that the software used and the subsidiaries of the company that owns the software are very left-leaning companies. Their ownership is left-leaning. If you track their Twitter and social media, you will see that those owners of the people who produce the software and who own these companies are very left-leaning.
Sure.
Okay.
It
just makes you think. Just okay,
right,
go
sure.
ahead.
I want to interrupt you
Go
briefly
ahead.
because certainly the ownership of these companies have members which are quite left-leaning. Some of them are even on Biden's transition team. So it makes you question that. But it isn't that alone that makes you wonder what's going on. There's so much more, and it's much deeper than that. The allegation is that the company, Dominion Voting Machines, is a Canadian company that has purchased and used a separate set of software called Smartmatic, or is licensed Smartmatic. Smartmatic is a software program and company developed by Hugo Chavez from Venezuela and his cronies in order to steal. It's a development of software that helps them steal elections, which he used to develop to steal his own elections. It has since been developed and used around the world to do that. And now Smartmatic was once denied access into the United States for vote counting purposes because of its dubious past, but is snuck in because it has been licensed through other companies. Dominion, I believe, is a Canadian company, and but its software and the Smartmatic software is based in both Spain and Georgia. So the way the system works is the votes come in, and then they go directly out to servers out of the country in either Spain or Germany. I haven't really been able to figure out where they are. I believe the servers are in Germany, but it's a Spanish-held company of some sort. Anyway, that's the first thing. So the reason why they're suspect is not because they have people in charge of their company which are left-leaning individuals. Mm-hmm. It's because the actual software itself has been known to be used in the past for vote stealing and vote correcting.
Right, and what we had on the election night is Trump lead in certain states, the swing states, as we say.
So there were 6 battleground states that Dominion was used in. So there were 6 battleground states. 6 of those battleground states, Trump was leading when all of them suspended voting.
Suspended
counting of the vote around the same time. And in the morning, Trump was losing in 5 of those 6 battleground.
Right, and what we learned, at least from the legal team, again, we're
this is
we're
based
trying
upon
to be
allegations we're hearing.
I'm trying to be fair here, Serge. I'm saying, from the legal team of Trump, who say they've gathered evidence
based upon affidavits they claim to have in their possession
that this was a design to backdoor. The software has a backdoor to it, which is where from remote locations you can just dump votes into a folder where it's no longer counted as a Trump vote and supplanted as a Biden vote.
Right. I wouldn't even attempt to go into how they do it, but essentially there is a way for them to modify the way a ballot is read and counted.
Okay. Now, as a lawyer,
for manipulation,
I'm going to say something as a lawyer, it is incumbent upon Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, who are
Linwood,
who are the front team for the Trump in these various courts, to not only allege it, but to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So proof. This is where it becomes like incredibly difficult for the Trump administration. It does, as a matter of just proof. Unless you take physical custody over the software and do a trace and prove to the court that the likelihood of what you're saying is substantial, you're getting nowhere. Okay, so we talked about this before the show. It's like, okay, if the Trump team knows, the reality is it's unlikely to result in a overturn of the election. What's the purpose of continuing on with these allegations and the litigations?
Well, you made a drastic jump, by the way, because first you're making an assumption that they can't. I agree 100% that the burden is high.
Right.
The question is whether they can show it in time in order to affect this current election. Right.
I think you and I might have a slight. We've identified this just a few moments ago. A slight difference because I think the primary goal is different than what you think the primary goal of the Trump administration. So Jason believes the primary goal of the Trump administration is they legitimately believe they won, and they can prove it. And so we're going to go down every avenue of evidence and try to convince a judge to say, let's open it up and maybe engage in more discovery and suspend deadlines and whatever it is, and let's get this right. Okay. And I'm thinking, in my personal view, it's more personal than anything else, that it's unlikely to result in any change in the election. But if the Trump team understands it's unlikely to result in a change, what do we need to do to foment a cause, if you will, to be resistant to the
new
Biden
resistance?
administration.
Sure.
It's a new resistance, right? Okay. And I didn't want to even say it that way because I was very. I don't like the fact that there was a resistance to the Trump presidency from the get-go, right? Okay. So I don't want to say it's but it is. I do believe that Trump is saying, I think legally we're going to exhaust our remedies.
It's going to be essentially political guerrilla warfare.
Yeah. And so the way I think it's going to happen, and we'll see how it plays out, is that Trump is going to announce when he realizes he's going to, but I believe it's probably likely, when he realizes he's going to have to give up the White House.
You don't want to say the word concede, do you?
Concede. I don't want to say the word concede. Give up the White House. When he has to be given his eviction notice.
He's not going to have to wait for that. That's a garbage.
When that happens, he's going to want to say, I am the man of the people. I'm the man for the rule of law.
He's a Vita.
Yeah. He's going to say, just
Don't
do
cry
not.
for me, Argentina.
He's going to tell his following. This is an election that's based on suspect data, if you will. And so you're not obligated to follow your new leadership. What's our world going to look like when that happens? And do we remain as a nation civil? That's a real debatable issue right now. Mm-hmm. I do believe that Trump is going to say, okay, listen, Biden's our president. I think he's going to concede, ultimately. Biden's our president. Jason's having a little heart attack over here. I do believe ultimately that's what's going to happen.
Those are called daggers. I
Okay.
am staring daggers at you right now.
Okay, because we don't want to live under that world. But when it happens, Trump is going to be the cause celeb for the resistance,
Sure.
right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got so much power, control. What's the word I'm looking for? When you have that personality style where, God, I can't think of it. The word will come to me. But he's going to be able to still rally the nation and his Trump supporters. And every couple of months,
it's
going to have a rally, and he's going to say,
I'm going to buy into
Biden
your
wants
idea
this, and
for the sake of participation and to hear my own voice for a moment. I'm totally teasing. No, but I think it's interesting because what's interesting. For the most part, if Trump loses, he will lose partially because of the COVID. And in addition to we could do an entire show as to all the forces that conspired against Trump. I use that term both loosely and literally. But the COVID will be his continued method of driving the wedge and maintaining his relevance in the modern and the ongoing political conversation. Most presidents walk away. Bush did. Obama did, but both of them are both two-termers and had nothing to gain. He literally could come back in 2024, and if he doesn't come back in 2024, he can come back as the kingmaker. And he's got a grouping of loyal senators, governors, interestingly enough, governors, DeSantis and Noem come to mind, and a ton of representatives who owe him a lot for the political clout they have for pushing forward. Matt Gaetz comes to mind. And that he's going to be able to continue that fight, both in the public and quite frankly in the government, because he has his followers. But he's not going to do anything illegal or anything. But I do think it's interesting that the COVID's going to allow him to stay relevant, because Biden's going to continue to drive the wedge of fear, and Trump is going to try to push hope. What's also very interesting there is that he will never go down. He will always go down swinging. He always wants to take credit for it. Don't forget, this is on my watch. I mean, it's like, come on, all right, got it.
You had to say it that way.
Geez,
I even
got it.
Yes,
all
right.
Yeah, got it.
Right.
Sore loser comes to mind. But I say that to say also that all of that fits very well into my theory that we discussed at some length last week about the realignment that I really believe is coming, the social, cultural, political realignment that's going to almost be necessary, because when you see Antifa and BLM counter-protesters literally beating up MAGA supporters who are doing really nothing, just pushing their strollers back to their cars.
Let's set that up a little bit, because most of our audience knows that that descended upon D.C. were hundreds of thousands of people who are Trump supporters. And they actually portrayed that on the news as a protest. I don't even know it was a protest. It was more or less a gathering of
It was
support.
a rally. It was a rally of support.
Okay.
It wasn't
It wasn't a protest
It was
of
a protest
anything.
about what? No.
Okay. But it started very early in the morning, and it grew and grew and grew, and then they
They tried to say there was only 5,000 people there.
I know.
I saw pictures.
There was-
I'm like, oh, hello.
When you see
There's
pictures, well, let's say at least over 100,000. It's probably
I'd be
several
willing.
hundred
I mean,
thousand.
definitely tens of thousands of people,
Okay,
if not
right,
more.
okay,
yeah,
right,
I mean,
okay.
but 5,000. I mean, you're
Right.
jerking.
But
the
nonetheless,
Yeah.
over from dawn until dusk.
until the beatings began. Until
Right.
the purge began.
No,
the purge
right.
began at 7.
A love fest, basically, among the people who were just enjoying themselves.
All
and
colors, all
okay,
creeds,
right.
all persuasions.
Then along the periphery and at the end and near the Supreme Court became what they knew the destination of this movement was going to be, was a gathering. And it's not debated, actually, of
Ignored, but not debated.
Antifa and BLM. Okay,
Mhm.
and when the rally was dissipating and people had to go back to their hotels or to their automobiles, whatever. Okay,
Rickshaws.
all right. Exactly. They were a lot of people intimidated, and in many cases, it resulted in some violence. Now,
Yeah.
all right. So this is where I have a huge problem with Biden and the sycophants of Biden. Okay, which is he had an opportunity to say that was clearly unacceptable. These were Antifa. It's not just an idea. These are people wearing them. People espousing the idea.
Not ghosts.
It's not just an idea,
not
right? They're
phantoms.
people. And Black Lives Matters were there, and they were with their own signs, and they were like intimidating the Trump supporters.
Yeah, they were.
And it was I think, to me, I hate to be so biased, but it's indisputable what I saw. I mean, multiple videos I saw on Twitter.
Throwing fireworks at people
Like
dining,
it was just so
ripping that
okay.
flag away from that woman,
And then
sucker punching that guy.
Because Biden knows that a significant portion of his base are these two groups, actually, now.
Mhm.
They've gone so far left that
He has
couldn't-
to appease them.
that he couldn't denounce them.
He can't.
So he has to say that, which is, you would
Bald-faced
expect a leader
lie.
to
It's
say,
a bald-faced lie, what you're about to say.
I abhor all forms of violence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the media won't say, hey, will you denounce? Will you flat out denounce Antifa and Black Lives Matters that were there, that were obviously present?
Mhm.
They won't even ask him that question.
No.
Okay. Do you think that would happen on the opposite side? How many times have we heard?
But he also
do you
blamed it on-
denounce white
he-
supremacy,
But he
Mr.
also
President?
blamed it on white supremacy. He literally, he blamed it on white
Right,
supremacists. Hello.
He said,
I mean,
there's violence on both sides, basically, right? Okay.
Isn't that ironic?
We have Serge chiming in.
come on in,
'Cause
sir.
he was all smiling and chuckling in the
If
background.
only Biden would have told them to stand by and stand down.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
Oh my!
He should. You know, Biden.
He doesn't
Because
even
you know what? Maybe
he's
Biden's
looking for his
too
cookies and
proud.
milk right now. Bottom.
Yeah.
Stand
All right.
back. Stand by. Stand by.
Jason
stand
needs
down,
to take a
stand by.
deep breath here, man.
Which one is it? Biden people.
Okay,
Stand by and
here's
stand
what- I
back.
want to make a bold prediction now because we're in a time capsule in a way.
Here we are.
4 years from now, you're going to vote for Trump.
4 years from now, I'm voting
4
for
years
Kanye.
from now, you're going to vote for Trump.
I'm voting for Kanye.
You're going to say, "Oh my God, I can't believe we live under a Biden
Kanye
administration."
50.
Definitely
Is it going to be
not.
Kanye 50 going at 50?
It's not. None
50?
of this is going to affect
50?
my life, so I'm good.
Listen,
None of
this-
Facebook. Listen, all my viewer. Listen, my viewer,
Audience.
or my audience.
There's two, so you have an audience.
Oh,
You have an audience.
two.
Someone's watching.
I am telling you right now, there's two people that you would never believe are going to vote for Trump.
I'm not.
It's going to be Serge and Tommy Chong.
Okay.
Right?
Jumping the
Yeah.
shark.
Hey, Tommy. See you
gonna be
Thursday, man.
for real.
For real. I'm doing this. What do you call it? The synergy, like when we
Promo.
promo.
There you
We
go.
merge
There you
promos.
go.
Thursday. What's happening Thursday though?
Tommy Chong interview. It's going to be amazing. Every show is going to be able to be involved. So hopefully every show brings their own little show's flavor to the interview.
Well, that's true, but to our two audience, three.
3 now.
Holy crap!
Wow, we are-
You guys just came
We're
up 30%.
skyrocketing.
Yeah.
we just got to
Celebrate.
Rockets in flight.
I don't even know what to do right now. I feel so famous.
You guys better call
Oh my
security.
lord! No, go ahead. No, seriously. Each of your shows, to promote Flahio for me.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Like all the shows are involved. Cover 2 Conversations is going to have some representation. What's really going on is going to have some people.
How long
Of
is
course,
the conversation?
Shizzle's going to be there. I don't know. It all depends on the flow, I guess. I'm guessing at least an hour. Who
Cool.
knows?
Cool.
So it's going to be a good time. This guy's a legend.
Yeah, well,
Tommy is a
tell,
legend.
I mean, for those of there's so many people who have no idea who he is. Really.
Who doesn't know who Tommy
How
Chong
do
Oh,
is?
Scott,
Come on.
there's people who have no
Chong.
idea who he is.
Who?
I don't know.
Maybe-
Name it.
maybe
name
some
the,
of your
name the
audience.
audience that doesn't know her. Him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who doesn't know her?
Tommy.
You know who Tommy Chong is, huh?
Cheech and Chong.
Did you see Up in Smoke?
Sure. I mean, just because I didn't smoke doesn't mean I didn't watch it.
Are you a denier?
No.
You never?
Never.
Okay.
Although this last trip I took
Did
up
you ever-
north, there's a
Can I
lot
ask
of
you,
people smoking.
Have
up
you ever
there.
inhaled any secondary smoke?
I smell it all the time anymore. I think I smelled it this afternoon going pumping up my gas. I mean,
Probably.
somebody opened up their car door and I was like, I don't think
Smells good, don't it?
Poor kid. The poor kid inside was like, eyes rolling back in his head.
Porky?
He was like 3 years old.
Jason, you and I.
What?
Get you guys stoned.
We need to.
Yeah, no, it's
That'd be a great episode. That would be a hilarious episode.
We got to do conservative high parents.
For real.
No,
Conservative parents.
not going to happen.
Stoned.
Under no circumstances. No.
Not even one time?
Nope.
Why not? It's not going to kill you, bro.
I had a rep to protect. No,
No, it's
can't do it.
okay. He's gone this long.
That's the better part.
No,
Because then you're going to be like, why
No, I'm
did
actually
it take
proud
you
of
so
him.
long?
I'm
to
proud
do
of him.
this?
Oh
No.
shit! I'm so. I'm actually. I'm really proud.
Oh, I thank you.
Okay.
No, I've never partaken.
Not me. I love weed. Weed's awesome. God gave us that plant.
God.
That's why it's a plant. It's not like a drug. It's a plant right off the ground.
Yeah. And now, so there's a lot of natural things that are on Earth that are good for us,
Exactly.
that are also bad for us.
Water is good for you.
Could also be bad for you, too.
Okay.
If you drink too much, you could die.
All right. Well, back to our show.
You can
Jason.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cowhead did that to somebody.
Yeah.
That was
All right.
a shame.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit about, for a moment, about the narrative about if you distrust the Trump administration, then you, by definition, have to distrust the vaccines that have come to light, because it was all part of the Operation Warp Speed.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's and this is where we become sick as a society, really. Okay, so
No pun intended.
no pun intended.
Just making sure.
No coronavirus sickness as a society. All right, so we have a problem, in my view, in which we have a presidency. Forget the president. a presidency that said, okay, we have a national crisis. I am, as the president, I'm speaking as Trump, I have contacts and relationships to the capitalists in the pharmaceutical industry. I can speak to them personally and say, I'm going to develop a partnership with you. And if you fast track all your resources towards helping humanity, we'll have you back. And I don't think anyone would dispute that normally in a situation where there's a new disease and you need to develop a vaccine, it would take 2 to 3 years. And Trump said, that's government speak. Private industry can handle it much quicker. We might need to incentivize private industry to do it. And so that's the public-private partnership he's talking about. And that's where warp speed comes. Now, as a result of it, we have verifiable, this is the word, verifiable results of vaccines. It's not in dispute. In fact, the Biden administration says it's wonderful news. We got great news. I want to hear from the left.
We lost one of the audience.
Yeah, we're down to 2.
What are we going to do now?
I want to hear from the left. It's glorious. Fantastic job, Trump administration.
When you say the left, like, who do you mean on the left? Would you mean everyone on in the Democratic Party, like Joe Manchin, or are you talking about those left, like AOC?
Those who have decided that Trump is, on any level, unacceptable to agree with, right? Because he's Trump. And then you lose sight of what's good for America. Because you can disagree with his policies, but if you can't even agree that we've reached a scientific development that is amazing, and just because you hate Trump, you're not going to allow the health of America to move forward? It's disgusting.
I think you're looking at this in quite frankly, both a too literal and too intelligently cogent conversation. What you're saying makes total sense, but logic doesn't prevail here. Logic hasn't prevailed since November 8th, 2016. I think you've got 2 problems going on. I think you've got the types who are the Trump haters, which are the more moderates, but just can't stand the fact that he beat them, who hate him and don't like anything he does. And from a political standpoint, not an intelligence standpoint, but a political standpoint, hate everything he does, and they must push back everything every time because they need to win. That's why they think they've won this election. That's all they've done is push lie after lie after lie. But you're forgetting the component. You are forgetting the component of those people who don't believe in the system itself, who don't trust the FDA already, who don't trust the drug companies and big pharma already. And some of those people are on the right, but a lot of those people are on the left. Big people who don't trust markets and incentives and good faith. They don't trust any of that. So you've got a component on that side which is a burn it down type of system. So they're not looking at it logically like, well, it was done like the moonshot. No, they're looking at it like they're shoving us down our throat, these effers, and they don't have any intention of making sure it works. They're probably going to make us the guinea pigs. They probably didn't even try it on animals yet. There's like these types of there's a lack of connection between logic and reality, I think, in that group.
But the question I have is, those people are espousing that. If they have a more a sincere belief that it's a legitimate cure, or a legitimate, I wouldn't say a cure, but you know what I mean, a legitimate way to curtail the virus, they're willing to put politics ahead of the actual science because it's something procured through the Trump administration. that's what's despicable to me. I think that's what I can see when I see the news, like when I see Cuomo in New York.
Oh yeah,
Say,
he came back off of
I
that.
need to have
think
an
a little bit.
independent review
Yeah.
panel.
Newsom out in California said the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like, why? The only reason why it would do that if it was Biden already president, and he said, "Hey, my FDA determined, these companies have developed a vaccine that is 94.5% effective." There would be zero way of saying like, "Oh no, let's have independent state verification of it."
Right.
It would never happen, and we know this to be true. I mean, it's like if you argue like, "Oh, anyone would say we need independent state verification," that's untrue. I just won't believe it.
There's also also another component. I think your position, the people who are willing to do that, I think they also have another motive. They want that control. I think they really enjoyed the control they got. They had that feeling of when they put everybody in lockdown, when they required normal, everyday, hardworking Americans to stay home. They got them to stay home and take money off the dole to survive. Gave them a little bit of sucking off the teat, right? I think they like that power, and that's why they're jamming it down again. That's why they're already talking about lockdowns again and curfews, and just a little bit of control. It's just going to be a curfew for a couple of weeks. Ohio, just a curfew for the next 3 weeks. That's all. 3 weeks. Mark my words. In Ohio, the curfew's not being lifted anytime soon. It's always been to reduce it. I think it's a power grab, and they need to get people under control. And I think they're going to have to wait until after the inauguration, and that's why they're going to keep pushing this until at least after the inauguration.
I agree with you, Serge. Can I ask you a question? What do you normally do for Thanksgiving?
I go to mom and dad's, have some turkey and rice and mashed potatoes.
Who comes to mom and dad's?
These are my brothers.
How many people are normally there?
Not many, because my whole family's down here. I see where you're going, but no, you're not going to ruin Thanksgiving.
We're not going to ruin Thanksgiving. I'm going to have like 1,000 people at my house.
In fact, I'm going to send 1,000 people to your house.
Nah.
Why?
It's
Why
not
wouldn't you
gonna
allow
Because
that?
they don't have enough pot.
We definitely don't have enough.
Well, wait a minute.
Maybe.
Wait.
If we roll up big enough and pass them around, yeah, we would.
Just roll up the backyard.
So you see where I'm going, though. But do you think it's legitimate for government to say,
tell you that
I don't
nobody
want any
cares
more
what
than
the
5
government
people in
says,
your
though.
house?
Nobody cares
And if
what
you're
they
in your
say.
house, you have more than 5 people. You gotta
Has
wear a
anybody
mask.
cared what the government tells them to do?
No, I think this
on
is the
both
point
sides. On
well,
both
this is the point I
sides.
was trying to make with Jason. I said we're getting to the point. No, I'm dead serious about this.
Where they show
we
up
got
squad
half of
cars
America
at your
saying
house?
"fuck you."
Yeah.
Like you can tell me my local official, my government, my governor, who's telling me I can't do something for Thanksgiving, and you're going to have.
Well, not
so
this
many-
governor, but you're talking
No,
about just
not-
the general. You're talking general.
Not
All right,
Florida.
okay,
I mean,
yeah.
DeSantis.
Yeah.
DeSantis is who's going to be on.
Nobody's going to listen.
He's going to be our next vice
It's one of those
president.
things that we're just like, yeah, whatever.
Ivanka DeSantis. That was
Yeah, right.
good.
But you know what I mean. Okay. This is. I think we're headed to the point where the 73 million Americans who are Trump supporters are going to say, "I'm not going to abide by the left. I'm not going to." So then it's going to put
Whoa,
the
hold on.
onus
One sec.
when it comes to
I
COVID
know we're-
restrictions.
I know, but you just said the left. And I think that's true that it comes from the left, but the left is further left than the left. So I think there's an authoritarian Democratic Party,
Right.
the Newsoms, the Cuomos. There's those people who are authoritarian, whether they have an R or a D next to their name. And then you've got people on the far left who are like, F you, we're going to do whatever we want. You got people on the far right, and you're like, screw you, we're going to do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the sheeple in the middle.
Yep.
Right.
And I don't think there's a lot of them, by the way.
About the sheeple?
But there are some.
I think there's way more sheeple
I think
than there are
it's a
people that-
disappointing number of people.
Yeah.
I went to a funeral, my father's funeral, a funeral.
Oh, my God.
I went to a funeral. No, I went to my dad's funeral several weeks ago, and it was up in Massachusetts. Very strict rules up there. We had to have a very restricted post-funeral reception because we could only have so many people. And I actually had some family there, and family who we may not see eye to eye politically because of various persuasions, but friendly, long friendly, like doesn't matter what our politics are.
Yeah.
And I went up to him after the funeral was over and the priest has left and the family's congregating and just, doing, just sharing memories and stuff. And I went up to my cousin and I was like, good to see you. And I reached out my hand and he backed away. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Not doing that like to touch you, like COVID, or not doing that
COVID.
because you're.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Because
No,
you're
it wasn't. It wasn't political. I did not mean to imply that.
Okay.
No, it was complete COVID fear.
Right.
Yeah.
And we went up, but in Massachusetts, they live in fear. You would not believe the psychos who were like panicky because of that. We were driving up, and my wife had to go to the bathroom in a gas station somewhere along the way, and she got in there and she realized she didn't have her mask on. It was in New York. It was in New York, by the way. But she was like, "I'm here, right? I've got to go." So she was already in there. She wasn't going to come all the way back to the car and then go all the way back in. It was snowing or raining or whatever it was outside, and so she just went straight in. And some lady literally stopped her. "Excuse me, just so you know, you don't have your mask on." And my wife's like, "I'm so very sorry. I left it in the car." Yeah, you might want to remember it next time. I mean, like, it's like, hello, dum-dum. I did not just fall in from Mars. I know that. But they are psychos up there. They, obviously, their politics are a little bit further left than stay here in Florida. But the bigger point is there are literally people who buy into this, holy crap, don't go outside, you will die.
Right.
A lot of them.
Well, and
But I
this
don't
is
think they're the
conservative
majority.
parents
I don't
with
believe
little
them.
kids.
Yeah.
And I have asked my children from time, and I've given up actually. My children that I still have a decent enough relationship to, and I say, hey, let's get together, let's go out to dinner or something like that. Oh, I'm not leaving my apartment. I don't want to meet you out in public. I'm like, well, why not? Oh, COVID. I get very data driven on this. Okay, all right. I understand there's a risk, but then assess the risk appropriately. Right. So, and we were talking about people who are young, like my children. I'm not, like infants, right? I'm talking about young adults.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think we talked about these stats earlier. I think that nationwide, as we sit here today, how many deaths have occurred from COVID to those who are 18 or younger? How many do you think they are, Serge?
I got no clue.
If you had to randomly guess.
Out of 200 and what? What are we at? 270,000 now?
How many of the
270 out of the 270? I would say.
How many?
Got to be
are
like
under 18?
30-ish, maybe.
That's actually pretty close, right?
Yeah.
25?
25, 30,000.
Okay, all right. So 25 Americans.
No, you mean 25 Americans total?
25 Americans who are 18 or under
Okay.
have passed away since the beginning of the pandemic from COVID.
For what age?
18 or under. 25.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we have this is what troubles me.
I don't know. I think it's
The
probably
moment
more.
we think of like, okay, the places of mass gatherings are schools, but we do know the stats say that among the youth, it's extremely rare they are going to suffer anything. Then the next question is, okay, but what if they get it and they transmit it to grandma and grandpa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why don't we let it up to the individuals of the localities to determine that, or the individuals or the actual individuals? I don't even want to talk about like local communities to decide that. I mean, we're all freedom-loving people. I even
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
Why can't we decide as Americans?
I might need
Go
to
ahead.
correct you. I'm looking at the CDC. And
Okay.
You're not. You're a little. The number's a little higher than what you said, according to the
Okay.
CDC, but it's
Got to
still
be a
pretty
lot more
low.
than
Okay.
25.
All right. So, all deaths involving COVID under 1 year is 26 total, but all deaths from deaths from all causes for under 1 year is almost 14,000
Under
children.
1 year. What do you mean 1 year?
under 1 year of age.
Yeah.
14,000 babies have died from COVID.
No, of all causes,
All causes. Okay.
is 14,000.
Okay.
All deaths involving COVID for under 1 year is 26.
Oh, babies only.
Yeah.
Under the age of 1.
So what about under 18?
Well, it doesn't go by that. It goes under 1 is 26, 1 to 4, 16, 5 to 14, 39, 15 to 24. By the way, doesn't go 15 to 18. It goes 15 to 24. 410 people.
Okay, it's still
Very low.
It's still, right,
I'm
it's
not
amazing.
intending to be,
Okay.
but you know,
And
when
again,
you
we
throw about
talked about
stats,
this
I don't
earlier.
want Facebook to come and drop a bomb on you or anything like that.
Okay.
You know, but I'm just saying. So when we look at that, what is that? 410 plus 40 is 450. 450 plus 15,
465.
465. 465 plus 26,
481.
1. So 482 total. 482 under the age of 24.
Since the beginning of the pandemic.
That's what it says
in America.
CDC.
And that's just strictly
Deaths
COVID.
involving coronavirus,
Right.
pneumonia,
So
and
I want to say first of all, this is not to diminish the loss of the of 200. You know, 200,
absolutely not.
right, or 480.
But that is current. By those
families.
numbers are from
Okay.
February 1 through 11
Right.
through November 7th, by the way.
Okay.
So those are current.
So
Updated November
are
12th.
we going
So,
to
yeah.
make public policy that governs 350 million people based on 0.0004% of the population? That's kind of where I come down on it.
Yeah.
And we're freedom loving Americans, and say, okay, who I'm not underestimating their collective intelligence. We can make individual choices. We've learned so much about the virus to know like where the risk is. Think about. I mean, I remember being I remember being here, Serge, when in March of last year, and like I was scared to be like in the studio.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come. I mean, I did come, and I was telling Star,
Make sure I spray everything down.
spray everything down, and like I don't want to let me sit over there, like 6 feet from you, and whereas that was probably
Came in with a mask on.
yeah. Okay, but we learned so much then. Think about how more relaxed we are now. We're sitting here now
Yeah.
and thinking about like COVID is more prevalent than ever.
You know who's always been this way? Me. I'm just saying.
He's a conservative.
No, I just
Surge-
don't pay
Surge
attention
is-
to the hype, man.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's okay.
I think there's
So
more
this is where-
affinities, but just-
I know when the media is pulling a scared, a scare
But
tactic.
why? But I
So I've
think
seen it so long.
to Jason and I's view, that occurs to allow control, to allow those who are in power to seize control over individual liberties.
Yeah.
And we see that as dangerous practice.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
Okay, so when I see
When it's
the
not,
Biden,
when it's not
the-
coronavirus,
the
it's drugs.
president-elect come
When
in
it's
there
not
and
drugs,
say,
it's terrorism. They find their little boogeyman and they
are
ride
you
it for
then
a couple of
bothered
years.
by the because I think this is where we're headed. I think he's headed towards, I believe, that another shutdown. Now, he may not say, I'm going to order a national shutdown. He's going to say, I believe that the policy of our country should be a shutdown.
That's where the
and
numbers
put
are
pressure
headed.
on the governors and local officials
Yeah.
to shut down. The reality is, and I hate to say it, it sounds so callous. I really hate to say it. But the reality is that when you look at the percentages, more harm is done by a shutdown than affecting people from the disease itself, right? So when we hear we don't want the cure to be worse than the disease itself, that is so true. That is so deadly true. No, shit, I shouldn't have said that. That is so very true. Right? So this is This is what bothers me. It's like, can't we just, as a people, understand that it's not about politics, but it's about data?
I agree. I
Okay.
mean, you're preaching to the choir. I mean,
Right? Okay. So, in reality, can we live our lives and understand the risks?
So,
And just
is
live
it
our-
really so bad to throw a mask on for 20 minutes while you're at
No,
the
I'm
store?
pro-mask.
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I mean, I am anti-mask, but I'm not saying.
Are you anti-mask or you're anti-pro-mask?
Yeah, I mean, that's
There's
me.
a difference.
That's
No,
me.
I
am.
understand that
I know
'cause
what you
they
mean.
don't
I
really
am
make sense,
anti-pro-mask. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Because I'm not pro-mask. I'm not anti.
You don't care, but
I'm
you
not
don't want
pro-anti-mask,
somebody,
but I
you
am
don't want-
anti-pro-mask.
You don't want somebody telling you, yo, you have to wear a mask.
I'm fine with people who say wear your mask.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I believe my position on this is definitely unpopular.
All right, here
Like,
we go.
I really believe, especially if we can get some good therapeutics that they're willing to give to people, and they have a vaccine, I believe we should all just jump in the pool together. Like, get it all, give it to me.
Good,
I think there's
Okay, let's build
I'm
up
at a
the
point where I'm
immunity,
like, I am a herd immunity guy, and I know that makes me a nut. Probably an anti-vaxxer, Trump-supporting Nazi. I mean, I guess, But,
No, but in your view, if you would have started back in March of last year, February of last year, and said, "Okay, everybody, jump in,"
So I'll get it.
Everybody
Call
get it.
as a
whatever's not.
community, as an American community, we probably would have.
there would
far
have
ahead
been
of the
deaths.
curve.
There would have
Far-
been deaths, no doubt. And that's what makes you a Nazi, because you know there have been deaths. But we may have protected the larger. And I also believe in the herd immunity for children. We know that children are not highly affected by the COVID. The numbers bear it out. If nobody else should be having the herd immunity, if we didn't even want to throw in the middle-aged people, we should have thrown in all the kids, because the kids are the ones who come in touch with middle-aged people all the
Yeah,
time. They're
all
called
the time.
teachers, right?
Parents.
And they're doctors and their parents and all this stuff. If kids became immune, if we created herd immunity in our, and I'm talking in an ideal world. I'm not really saying, hey, I'm not Goebbels over here just trying to. Right. Come on, everybody, get on the boxcar.
on,
Let's go, everybody in. That's not me.
You're going to a vacation
That's
camp.
not me. But I'm just saying, wouldn't it be an interesting theory that if we gave herd immunity to everyone 18 and under, how that could have affected the remainder of the infection rate elsewhere?
I actually don't dispute you.
No,
I think that. All right.
What if
I
they
just
tell
wanna
you?
talk
What if
about
they
the way it
force
is
you
today.
guys to
the way
take?
it is today?
But the question is, people are like, well, would you throw your kids in there because which one of them died? I'm like, okay, so like, what's the death rate? We just saw that. It was like, across the country, it's a very nominal rate. I mean, if I lost one or two, I'd still have 5.
So would you guys? Oh my god!
I'm just so
Oh my
joking.
God.
I, would so
I will
joking.
not mention
Holy
the wife's
crap.
name.
That
I
was
know,
a
that's
total
a
joke.
No, I know.
No,
but
but we know. But
what
the-
if they told you that you needed to get the vaccine? Would you get it? Like if they said, "Listen, we need you to get this vaccine. If not, you can't go to work."
I am a bit of an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
I am.
Well, I am too.
I
I
don't.
can't
I
stand
was at the doctor yesterday, and he's like, "You don't like to do the flu shot, do you?" I'm like, "Nope."
No.
No, I'm not. But he did say, "Well, I do because I am required to tell you about these." And he's like, "And there's the shingles vaccine." I'm like, "I do want the shingles vaccine." I'm like,
Get that-
I'm like,
all right.
I'm like, "Here's my arm. Shoot me up because I don't want the damn shingles. I'll get the damn corona, but I don't want
I
the
don't
damn
want
shingles.
Yeah, because I saw a story recently.
Bring on the
that-
meningitis, but I don't want the shingles."
I saw a story recently that Ticketmaster, you have to actually prove that you've had the vaccine in order to even buy tickets.
So where I was going with my little bit is that's the part. That's the big
don't
brother
like?
part
Yeah.
that freaks me out. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to fly on a plane.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to check into a hotel. You're not going to be able to go to a concert. You're not going to be able to go to a show. You're not going to be able to walk into a courthouse.
Yeah.
Until you can show you have been vaxxed.
See, that's what I don't like. That's the
Yeah.
stuff that brings the memories of the
Then the
Tuskegee
left
Airmen
and the
all
right need to come together, realign, shut all these effers out, and have our own PSA
They've
and
already
NSA.
come together. That's why this is happening.
NSA, PSA, NSA.
That's why
You'll
this
be in
is
the PSA.
happening.
I'll
You
be in
think
the
you,
NSA.
the thing is, you guys think that this isn't by design. This is 100% by design on both sides. They want the vaccine.
I hate the both sides argument.
It's
Boy,
both sides.
if I have I don't think I have a bigger pet peeve than both sides do it. I think your both sides are, quite frankly, sir, look at me. The both sides argument is actually the same side, and it's not right or left. It's the middle fuckers.
Yeah.
It's all those people in the middle who think they're in the control. It's the rhinos and the dinos. It's all those people who are in the middle who claim they're the moderates. They're the scary effers. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. You can trust more. I would trust Bernie more than I would trust Schumer. And you should be able to trust Trump more than you would trust McConnell. And that's the truth.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
I mean, I know you hate Trump because he's orange.
I don't hate him.
But
He's just a
you know, my
douchebag.
point is,
That's all.
Trump is a truth stater. I mean, even if you don't like him, he will tell you what he's thinking. He's not going to lie to you. Bernie, same thing. I don't like Bernie. I wouldn't follow Bernie, but I would rather have Bernie than Schumer.
Trump's going to tell you what's in his mind, and he will lie to you.
No, see, I don't.
That's all
see,
he
I don't,
does
I-
is lie.
I
So the
think
way
you
we look at
misunderstand
the way
that, but that's
Jake's
okay.
looking at it.
Well, I mean, he has no
I
filter.
can deal.
Trump has no
He has
filter.
no
There's no
This is what's
filter.
weird,
There's no
because
But he also lies.
As lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
I tell my clients, I don't care how bad your case is. I can't represent you effectively until I know all the truth. So when I know I can trust whatever's being said to me, I can effectively represent you. Right?
Yeah, true.
It could be a bad case, but I can effectively represent you if I
If
know.
I
the
know,
truth.
if I know my pitfalls.
So when you got a Sanders who like he believes it, you can trust what he says because he believes it.
Yeah.
Rather than someone just playing the politics and playing like who's my base and it's all a game.
Yeah.
Which is entirely Biden. Biden doesn't have a sincere belief system.
No.
None.
No.
He's what can I do for the most people?
He's one of the most mendacious people out
Hey,
there.
Oh my god! Oh, I love that word.
The word of the day,
Word of the
mendacious.
day. Word of the day. Mendacious. Everybody, look it up. We're out.
You're on your own.
You're right.
I don't even know what it means.
And this is what's frustrating for us
Yeah.
that are potentially losing this election. Are you giving up?
Potentially.
No, I believe Trump's going to win.
You believe Trump's going to? Because I have to be realistic. I don't think because I do believe
No, I think
he
Trump,
should win.
I think
I
Trump's
just
gonna,
don't think it's ever going to happen.
I think Trump's going to drop the bottom out, and if he and then I am like a okay. Do I think Trump's going to win? I think it's more 49 likely to win, 51 not likely to win. But I'm very hopeful because I feel like their hopefulness is more than just rah rah. Keep voting for me. It's he's got nothing to lose, and I think it's truth. Because if he's putting up a sham, let me put it this way. I think he does care about his supporters. I think he does care about this country. And I think if he's putting up a shell game right now, he will be burned. Because if he says he has evidence and it's all a shell game and it's all bullshit, it's all a house of cards, every last bit of it will burn down. All of it.
Well, I don't. This is where we have a little bit of a debate.
I know, that's
okay,
because I'm not-
so
you're not a
I don't
Nazi like
believe
me.
he
You know,
feels
maybe you should become a
that
Nazi.
his evidence is lacking. I feel like he wants Americans to understand that we didn't have a full and fair election, regardless of the result.
That's true. Well,
Okay, regardless of the result.
We haven't
We need
yet
to
talked.
have
You know what? Do you know what the
fairness.
elephant in the room is? And it's not a big rhino. You know what the elephant in the room is how this election. It wasn't stolen. I hate that word. Stolen. It was stolen. If it was stolen, it was stolen by the fraud of the ballots and some of the business that the monkey business that happened, and these various precincts. But the biggest problem is that it really bothers me, and this is why I think we're broken. Okay, we're broken because our country has been rocked with lie after conspiracy after lie after conspiracy since November 8th, 2016. Our country has been lied to over and over again, and when you throw in not only the lies of the media, the lies of those in charge of the Democratic Party, and those in charge of the investigations, and the heavy-handed effort by big tech, Trump had never had a chance because they lied about him so much that even his supporters started wondering. And it's the gaslight election. We've been gaslighting for the last 4 years.
I wanted to ask this to you earlier.
Sure.
Okay.
I'd love to answer it.
Back in March, April, May, we expected the Durham investigation to conclude,
Yeah, still out there.
right? And then we thought, by the way, the Durham investigation is the U.S. attorney out of Connecticut who was charged with investigating the origin of the Russian collusion theory, right? And
And the alleged fraud
and
that
alleged
it was.
fraud, right? Okay. And we were told that far prior to the election, there would be indictments and there would be, and nothing happened. And we actually were told prior to the election he was going to forego making any findings until after the election.
I
Do you think we're going to get anything before the inauguration?
No.
You think he's going to go away?
Yeah,
he's
I
going to
think
fade out.
Yeah,
he's going to fade out.
I think he's going to give up.
So
'Cause
he-
I think he's going to realize that he thinks Biden is likely the winner, and that he'd be on the chopping block if he goes forward,
Right,
and
it's
therefore he's not
gonna
going
be-
to go to. But I think it's more than that. Think of it like this: ever since the election and all the legal efforts by the Trump administration, they've lost attorneys after attorneys after attorneys because entities like the New York Times and other media elites have literally doxxed and threatened every one of those attorneys, and I believe there is a legitimate fear. I believe people are afraid of being blacklisted.
They're afraid of their personal lives being completely destroyed by coming out.
Look at these McCloskeys in St. Louis
Right.
who merely came out onto
Defended
their
a-
own yard with their guns. They shot
their own
nobody.
legal guns.
Their own legal weapons on
That
their
weren't e-
own
that
legal
weren't even
yard.
loaded.
I know that.
They weren't even loaded.
And they're still coming after them.
Right.
They are trying to shut it all up because if you shut it down,
But
if you shut it up,
this is the thing that
You win.
aggravates me. Is then
people
when
are
you-
afraid. That's
when-
why there's
when
the shy
you
Trump voter,
continue
by the
to
way.
kowtow to that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
You're empowering the pressure.
Yes, that's exactly it.
You're
You're
enabling.
encouraging it. Yes.
Okay. When are we going to find people of courage?
When the shit hits the fan.
When's that? Right around the time of a revolution?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we don't have a hot revolution. I like to use the word a realignment. I think something has to scare the people. And there might be a couple things, and maybe we're seeing it, maybe we're living it, maybe we're talking about it. Maybe what's about to scare the bejesus out of the public is a combination of things. The COVID, the response to the COVID, this election, the fraud of this election. Maybe it's all unresolved. Maybe Biden gets inaugurated, but that's not going to quell it. It doesn't go away. It's Biden swearing an oath on January 20th doesn't fix anything. If anything, it actually makes it worse.
Huh.
And then we'll see what happens. Does BLM and Antifa continue to attack
Do you
Trump
want-
supporters?
Like I was suggesting to you off the air.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want President Trump to announce he's running for 2024?
I don't think it matters.
No.
Okay. All right.
What matters or not? Is that what you want? Would you like to see a counterculture, if you will, to the Biden presidency?
Oh, yes.
Led by Trump.
Yes. But you qualified that by saying Trump
Announces
for 2024.
Ah.
I don't think he needs to do that to have a counterculture, a counter-revolution. Rather.
Well, I don't think his supporters would be fervently in his corner as a counterculture, unless he
Okay.
says he's going to be the 2024
Okay.
running for president.
Oh, there was something
Right?
in here.
So I think it kind of
No, okay.
He's
I
dying,
understand what you're
folks.
saying. I am not dying. I'm under control. I believe
Let me put on my mask.
I'm COVID-free. I've been tested 8 weeks ago. I believe that Trump is going to lead a counter-political for lack of a better word, we'll use the word revolution.
As the leader of the
He'll be the leader of the quote unquote resistance. I hate the term too,
Right.
but that's the vernacular right now.
right.
Okay, he's going to lead the resistance. How he leads that resistance remains to be seen. I don't know. Does he need to name himself? Does he? I don't know. I think what he needs to do more than himself is I think he needs to find people who's going to support him. I'd like to see him to become more than Trump. I'd like Trump Inc. to be more than Trump and Trump Jr. and Ivanka and Eric and Laura and McElhaney and all these other people. I love all those people, but I think we need more. Cruz, Rubio, and by the way, Cruz is starting to come out. Have you noticed? He's really lighting it up. You're going to have to start seeing people. What, these rallies?
And
There's going to have to
and
be
Jordan's the same way.
all of those people. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who thinks they're going to ride these coattails has got to be out there too. Cruz, Rubio, DeSantis, Noem, anybody who thinks they are the next, who are the inheritance of Trump, need to be out there, and they need to be fostering this. And it doesn't need to be a revolution. It needs to be it needs to be like a Tea Party. It needs to be separate from the Republican Party. It needs to break ground.
Are you saying, in essence, that we need to adopt the left philosophy and be more of a fervent resistance?
No. We have to adopt our forefathers' philosophy of resisting authoritarianism.
Okay, but the way to accomplish that is to
you identified as
resistant.
being left, but that's not a left concept.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
that's not a left concept. Paul
Okay.
Revere wasn't a leftist.
No, but the way to accomplish the goal is to be resistant to the left.
Peaceful resistance and protest, the right of free speech, the right of assembly, all of those things need to be maintained. Which, by the way, the COVID threatens.
All right, so I'm going to ask the $1 million question, or $64,000.
$64,000, please. Thank you. We're not rich enough yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Not yet.
This is going to be so inflammatory,
Oh,
but
I
we
love
can leave the show this way.
That's how you do it.
Nice.
Light the fire. and
When
leave.
you meet someone that's fervently in the resistance of Trump,
Okay.
fervently,
Mm-hmm.
do you think in your soul they're delusional?
I fear the conspiracy theorist. I don't like those types. But I imagine, like every revolution, there are useful idiots.
Okay, I hear you. Okay.
But no, I don't
So-
like them. I
Okay.
really do
Let's
prefer.
say-
That's why, like when we talked last week,
Right.
I talked very seriously about my theory about separating the country
Right.
in one way or another. But I'm trying very hard not to call it a revolution, not arms. I don't believe that. I believe in sitting down and talking. I believe in intelligent people having intelligent debate.
But it's got to be rational.
Rational, intelligent debate.
Right. Okay.
But I
when
believe,
you-
by the
but
way,
I'm
but
just-
I
I'm-
want to make. I know. Hold your comment.
Go ahead.
Your
Go ahead.
question. I'll answer it. I'm
Okay.
happy.
Okay.
But Serge, last week when I mentioned the fact, like, would you be open to the idea of like two different regions, one's more left and one's more right? You'd be open to that. Would you be open to that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my theory is that I believe there are people on both sides. This is not in my head right now. When I originally thought about it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a revolution. We're going to fight it out. I'm like, no, we don't have to, because the original revolution
Disagree
was
to go
not
to
fought
corners.
out by the. Wasn't fought by the majority. Our first revolution wasn't fought by the majority. First of all, second of all, we don't need to be all on the same side. See, unlike the the revolution against the British Crown, it was just all of us against all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this time the realignment, I'm going to use the term realignment because I believe it's going to be underneath the Constitution. It's going to be amended into law, not a revolution into law. It's not going to be two different countries. It's going to be one country realigned under the Constitution. It's going to be people on the left who recognize the same thing that people on the right recognize, but essentially it's the opposite side of the same coin, right? So we're going to work together to find that, and we're going to seek out and minimize and reduce the voice of the squeaky, lemming, weenie poussoirs.
Poussoirs. Poussoirs. I'm going to adopt that now.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You had more. Let's go. Okay.
I don't know where I go from
Oh,
there.
you had something else, though. Come on. You were going to challenge me.
All right.
I told you to hold your thought. Are you a sieve?
No. All right. What I want is actual unity. Actual unity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I want those who listen to me, which is down to, again, one.
Oh,
The
one
audience.
audience.
We're back to audience.
We're back to audience one.
Hey,
Identify yourself.
yeah, I know who it is. But anyway, I want us to understand that it's possible to not have a resistance that is based solely on like I don't know how to describe this. Okay. I hated the fact that we had established after, or not we, that the left had established a resistance after Trump got elected. Mm-hmm. I don't want that now. I don't want that from the right. I don't want to be the same kind of people. I don't want it.
You just want to be a bunch of W's.
But when the left says unity, this is where I'm coming down on. When the left says, I want unity, what it means is, and I want everyone to understand this is what it really means. I'm going to get passionate here. If you don't agree with me,
I hope so.
You're not for unity.
That's right.
It's not a matter of like let's reach a consensus or compromise. It's a matter of if you don't agree with me, you're anti-unity.
There are several leading stars on the Houston Rockets NBA team who want traded out because their owner voted for Trump. That is scary, and that is not unity. Don't beg me to come aboard. Okay, I'm going to give you another example, and I doubt this person is actually listening. I hope that she is, but I doubt she is. I have a very, very good friend. Is there an audience up to two?
Oh,
no,
what's still one?
Not
Still
possibly
one.
here. So anyway, this particular audience is a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, and I love her to death. And she essentially posed a question on Facebook last week that said, I hope that all my Trump supporters friends who said during the last 4 years that we had to suck it up and blah, 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 the same platitudes that they always complain about, I hope you will do the same. And I said in response, with a smile, by the way, because I'm a little bit joking asshole, I said, they need a little joking asshole, not just a smirk, not a little wink. They need like a smirking asshole, because that's me. That I said, I'll be just as conciliatory as Nancy Pelosi, what's Schumer? What's his first name? Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton. And that just riled him up. I had all kinds of Nazi, fascist, white supremacist, proud boy.
Right.
All this shit in return. I'm like, this is why. And I said in response, I'm like, this is why we're not going to have unity. Not because we don't want unity, but because you're continuing to trash us. You trashed us for 4 years. You're going to continue to trash. Hold on. This person who claimed that, you know, by the way, no person who dislikes Trump ever got over that election, by the way, called me a snowflake. Now, I'm opinionated. I have my spot. Snowflake, no, I'm not. Walk through my front door, you'll see what a snowflake I am. I'll, if in the middle of the night with the door locked. I mean, not just anybody. But my point is that I only raise that to my friendship with this person is not affected by that little exchange. I know who she is, and I know what she means, and I know that she doesn't really think I am a snowflake. And I know she knows me deeper than that. That's not my fear. I don't fear what she particularly thinks. But all those people in that post who called me a Nazi and referred to the Proud Boys and the white supremacists and the, that guilt by association type of crap. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
How could you vote
But
for
this
a
is
blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, unity.
But Jason, this
How
is
can
the
you have
show.
unity?
This is the show. This is our show. Okay.
It's
our
the basis
show.
of this.
The basis of the
Conservative
show.
parents with liberal
It's-
kids.
You just nailed it.
I did.
Because
You're welcome.
my children, and I believe children of other conservative parents, have labeled their parents as, if you are supporting someone I believe is a Nazi, or is a Nazi sympathizer, or is a white supremacist, or whatever it is, you are therefore, as Nazi supremacist, or as a Nazi, or as a white supremacist, as the president is. And therefore, it's not a political issue, it's a moral issue. And if it's a moral issue, you're repugnant. And if you're repugnant to me, I can abuse you anyway. I can invite,
Abuse you, rid our society.
I
of
can
you.
I can eradicate you because you are essentially worse than Hitler.
Scum.
Yeah. And it's this association and the belief, and it's not just. It's very frustrating to me because I'm almost getting emotional. I don't want to get emotional. I took over the parenting for my children when they were at risk of losing their own future. My ex-wife became mentally ill to the point where she couldn't function as a human being and had lost her parental rights. I want to get into that. So I had to take over.
Yeah. And it wasn't her own
And
fault.
it wasn't her own fault.
She was
Mentally.
medically challenged.
Right. And she got institutionalized and then couldn't even comply with the requirements there.
Mm-hmm.
And lost parental rights. And as a result, I became the sole parent of my 4 kids. And notwithstanding the fact that I raised them, that I've devoted my career, my professional career, to representing victims of discrimination. And now I'm representing parents, or I do high conflict divorces now. Mostly, it's what I'm doing most of my time. And the fact that they are a product of a biracial marriage, and yet they completely believe, because of the politics of today, and I voted for Trump, they actually believe it. I'm irredeemable because I voted for Trump, because he's a racist. It's not a political issue. All the facts of that I devoted my life and community service and everything to the fact that even though I am a right-leaning person, they equate that to being evil. They equate it to being as someone that is willing to be a Nazi. That's how bad it is. So when you see on the news and the Twitter sphere of clips of Trump supporters being attacked, it's because those people who are doing the attacking have gotten to the mindset. I am eradicating evil from humanity. I am, and in reality, you're being more of a Nazi than anybody else.
Yeah, and there's, if I may, so when what you're talking about is, I think, is very real. We've been dehumanized enough that we can be attacked in the streets.
Yeah.
But I think it's more than that. We also talked about this earlier, so I'm not slapping something new on you. But the very fact that they think that Trump is that Antichrist, is Adolf Hitler reincarnated, and that all his supporters are a bunch of brown shirts. Why is it so hard to understand that if you actually believe that, why would it be so hard to believe that those same people would throw an election?
That's a great question, right? Perfect.
Why would you, if you literally believed he was
We at no, we cannot allow Hitler to be president again. We can't allow it.
That's right. And
We will do
therefore,
anything.
including breaking the law.
Okay.
I will go to jail just with
I
the
will
risk.
die.
I will die and risk going to jail to make sure he doesn't become president again.
Because it's a
there are
matter
people
of,
who believe that.
I'm saving humanity.
Because I'm saving humanity. I'm saving the country.
Right.
I'm saving the world.
Right.
So why
But
is
that's
it so hard to believe that somebody
this is what
would
I want to
pull
get
a
across.
lever or
I
two?
know it sounds so conspiratorialist, but I live it with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
which is they believe that it's so evil.
That's what gaslighting is, though.
Yes.
Gaslighting is so hard to understand, but that's exactly. Gaslighting is a real thing. When you make someone feel so fucking crazy for the reasons why they think what they think, you've gaslighted them. We believe we're crazy.
Right. And that's
And we're like,
because-
oh my gosh, we're
But
just
it's not just
put me in a rubber
individuals
room
doing
already.
it. It's a systemic problem. It's the universities.
It's a systemic
Right,
conspiracy.
right.
It's the universities. It's big tech. It's legacy media.
Right.
It's a good chunk of our politicians.
Now,
It's
what
the deep
motivates them
state.
to do
It's
that?
the deep state.
Let's think about it from their perspective
Their perspective. Okay.
for a moment.
Sure. That's hard.
Yeah, I know. Right.
And it's-
I
and
looked
it's-
at you like, "Oh, we're
and
going to
it's
go
icky.
there." Right.
Is it
Can,
icky?
can we
It's
even
really-
defend them?
No,
Okay.
you can't.
All right. I know it's an awful tactic. Look, I'm going to get real personal here. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm picking up my son Keegan from college next Tuesday and driving him to my sister's house, and there's going to be, and my son is as left as it could get. Now, I love him, and he loves me, and we still communicate. He's my youngest. My other three, my oldest, doesn't want to have any. She's defined me as being the epitome of evil, so she won't even talk to me, only because of politics. My son, Noah, who's 20, he comes in and out of my house every now and then, check his mail, and he wants to use the computer or whatever it is. But our conversation is superficial because we know he defines me as evil, and I don't want to confront him on it.
Right.
And so we have just this past. It's upsetting because I spent my entire life devoted to making sure they got to where they are today. They can make their own decisions. And what decisions do they make? My Lord, I can't even go there. All right, but I'm picking up my son Keegan, and I'm going back to the point, for Thanksgiving. And I'm scared.
What about Dana?
Dana is who's 20.
She's in New York?
She's still in New York. Segue. Dana and Noah, 22-20, are going to visit my daughter my daughter Rebecca in L.A.
Oh, that's nice.
My daughter Rebecca's 28. They're going out to L.A. for Thanksgiving.
They're going to quarantine.
And hopefully, whatever party they're joining, it's not more than 5 people. Because I think that's the limit. Right? But anyway, so be it. I don't want to get into this whole thing about I just wish they would be more family oriented and think that everybody should be in one central location and not worry about COVID regulations and just have a real family Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 2020. It is what it is.
So you and Keegan are going to have Thanksgiving dinner with your
So
sister.
I got right. So I'm picking up Keegan, and I know because he's so passionately left that I have to just suck it up
Just talk
for a
about
whole
anything.
weekend.
Yeah.
For like 3 days.
Anything but politics. It's going to be hard.
It's not hard, really.
What do you mean it's not hard?
Come on,
Because he's going to be he wants to join campaigns.
Oh, really?
Not only wants to join, but he has joined campaigns. He wants to be a campaign manager.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, my God, you have passion, follow it. You don't have to make me evil because you have a passion.
Right.
And I'm that simple. Like, I'd rather my kids think differently, but God bless you, you think that way, but don't make me evil. Just don't make me evil. I have devoted my life to you. I have fucking devoted my life to you. And
awful.
I have encouraged you to be a free thinker. You are who you are.
You can think like you think because I didn't overwhelm you.
Right. I didn't indoctrinate you. I'm not saying that you do to your kids, but
Are you accusing me of indoctrination?
no, because he's got
I don't use
conservative
indoctrination.
kids.
I don't use indoctrination. I use
Okay.
cages. Anyway.
Right.
That's the way to do it. It's a lot easier that way. Breaks them way quicker.
Oh,
right,
are you
so-
going to vote for Trump? Oh, good. Well, here's some bread.
So, but it was only
you want to eat?
but it was only 2 years ago.
Conservative parents
2
with
or 3
conservative
years ago,
kids.
that I could be
Cages,
with my kid,
baby.
I could be with my kids and not even think of politics. I used to sit with my son Noah and watch football games.
Yeah.
Not worry about it. I mean, it's like there's no contact I have with my kids that isn't some way clouded by the
That's
polarization of politics.
It's a shame.
Notwithstanding conservative parents with liberal kids. And so, again, my point of the show is notwithstanding all of that, notwithstanding the frustration. I know so many people out there are as frustrated as I am.
Yeah, they are.
Do not let the politics control you. Keep telling yourself love and respect will win out. So, and this is particular to my daughter, Rebecca, my oldest, who made it a defining moment. If you are immoral, you are racist, and you are sexist if you're voting for Trump, and I want nothing to do with you as a family member. I still love you. Tremendously, I love you. I'm not going to spend my energy trying to convince you to think anything differently than you think. And I will just trust the forces of the universe. I was going to say God because I'm not a very religious person. That at some point, you and I are going to reconnect and realize we lived through a moment, which I'll say years, right? Like a couple election cycles. We lived through a moment that was horrific. Still, I'm 57 years old now. I still feel life
You're
is
old.
short. Yeah,
Really
I'm
old.
fucking old. Yeah. So
I talk about
I don't want
middle-aged,
to be
I'm
in
not
a
talking
position
about
where
you.
I feel like maybe I got a terminal disease and I have to make things good with my kids, and I don't want it to be where they feel like pity to come back to me, right? I just want it to happen naturally. Like, Dad, I realize who you really are. You're a good person. You just think differently than me. You're a good person.
I
I'm just
don't
not
wanna-
confident it's going to happen.
I don't want
It
to
frustrates me.
I mean, I haven't had this to me, so I can't presume, and I don't want to presuppose what would happen. But I wonder if and when any of your children have their own, if they will come around and realize that the love that exists between a father or a parent and the child, I think that love is not understood.
No,
And I'm not being very novel when I say this. I don't believe that love is the same. I don't think a child loves a parent like a parent loves a child.
I agree with you, and I think
And
the
they
only way
will
they'll
know
look
that
at-
when they have
when
their
they
own.
have right. So when I have all of my children saying, "I don't want to add to the evil of the world,"
So they're not going to have children.
none of my children have said they wish to have children.
You know, not to make this not to change the subject, because the way you wrapped it up was actually quite sad, but also eloquent and appropriate, and especially about this show. We should talk about that because not necessarily right now, but maybe in a future show. But the future of mankind and the love and hope of mankind comes through children. I know when I was a child, I wanted multiple children. I know when I was a kid growing up, I said I was always going to have 4 kids. I always said that. I was always have 4 kids. I wanted multiple kids. Jill always said, "Oh, I wasn't supposed to say her name.
You're in trouble.
Oh, the J word.
Don't say it." Anyway, we always said
We're ready
she
to
always,
go
she
full
always-
on J.
She always wanted to have children, and then we went right on past it. We're like 4 is not enough.
Right.
Let's go for 8. Well, we didn't get there, but we have 7.
Well, you have time.
But my point, well, yeah, at this point, I don't have patience anymore. Time, no patience. I'm just teasing. No, we have this thing called biology. We have to worry. I just turned 50,
Oh, wow. I wish I was turning 50. My God.
I know you are old, but my point is that I do think it's. I think we should look.
Paisanos. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't have any kids when we went to Paisanos.
right. No. Go ahead.
That was when we were so skinny. God, we were skinny then. We didn't even know how skinny we were. We ate Paisanos. That's why we're fat.
I had pastel shirts and right.
Oh my gosh,
Pastel.
Paisanos.
We digress. Go ahead.
But you know what? What was the place across the street we used to go and get the burgers? Next to the Tanga
Jeez.
Lounge. Where was that? The best burger in all of Tampa.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Is this
Right
place
across
still
the
open?
street from
Right across the street from the Grand Hyatt. What was it called? It was like a name. It was a name. It was a name.
It was called something.
No, it was somebody's.
All right, whatever.
Whatever. It was good.
We
Is it still open?
No, it was wiped out, but they had to
It
do
was the best
construction.
cheeseburger. But I remember one time, I'm going to only share this stupid thing for one time. Because we went over on a Friday afternoon. I don't know if you were with us. I know it was with Keith. And we were like, F it, we're going to have a beer.
Right.
And we had a beer.
Before you had to go back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pappas
All right,
walked
so
in the door.
all right, we are totally digressing here. You ready for this? We worked. All right, so.
I can't
All right,
believe
wait.
it.
I'm going to set the table here.
All right, setting the table.
All right, so there was a law firm. I'm just going to name it.
It's gone now. It doesn't exist. So sure.
The law firm is completely disbanded.
It's changed names so many times people wouldn't even recognize
All right,
it.
so when we were there, it was
Butler, Burnett, and Pappas.
Butler, Burnett, and Pappas. Okay. And
Was
it's
this the
an
purple shirt days?
Yeah, it was
The days of
it
the
was the
purple shirt.
insurance. It was an insurance defense firm, primarily. They did other things, but 98% insurance defense. Okay, I had about 100 attorneys.
Oh yeah, it
Okay.
was 100.
All right, and we were at the. You joined the firm slightly before I did.
Yeah,
I
it was.
think.
I think it was July of I'm not sorry.
Yeah, and I was
It was July of 1998.
98. So
No, I joined. I'm sorry. I joined in. Hold on. Let me think. We got married, so I joined the firm in May of 1998.
Okay, so I was a couple of months after that. I think.
I was about to graduate high school.
God, what a baby!
Yeah, right?
Fuck. All right. So anyway, we could talk so much about this firm. I don't want to out them so bad.
I
but-
just want a video of that Christmas. I want a video of the Christmas skit. That's all I
Okay,
want.
all right.
That's all I want.
Oh my God, Christmas! All right, let's go right there. Let's go to 8:30. It's 8:30. You got to go home. You got to go home,
I
man.
was supposed to be home 20 minutes ago.
All right. We totally make it like forget the show.
What show?
The show. We're
Oh,
gonna go.
whatever,
Oh my
whatever.
God! All right. So imagine Jason and I at the stodgy law firm,
Stodgy.
and they had a hierarchy, and it was a way of doing things, and you got to do them the right way. And I discussed this, like you mentioned, the purple shirt.
Yeah, purple shirt.
How did you remember all that?
Because that was the funniest thing I ever heard.
The purple shirt.
All right, so
Oh, dear.
the audience who doesn't know this story. All right, quick background. Okay, so I worked at this Butler, Burnett, and Pappas, and it was a very stodgy firm, and I had come from a more liberal, not liberal politically, but more relaxed environment.
Yeah, laid back.
Laid back environment. And I joined this firm, and I guess I wasn't as corporate as they wanted me to be.
Oh, no,
right?
you were not.
So I dressed as what I wanted to dress, and I wore what like I wasn't completely black suit with white shirt, power tie kind of guy. And one day I come in to work, and my senior attorney says to me, he says, "Listen, I see that you're not wearing white shirts. You need to wear more of a white shirt because it's more of a defense attorney type, insurance defense attorney type wear." And I'm like, "You don't allow me to see clients." That was the first thing I thought of. Like no one sees me. You put me in a fucking hole to do goddamn research, and to be a fucking
research. That's
right,
what we were.
and to be like this goddamn, like I don't know what to say. I don't want to be too upset. But you're making
We were glorified law clerks.
Yeah, well, just be a clerk. So when I joined the firm, by the way, I had 7 years of litigation experience, and they said, "Oh, goddamn, you're fantastic. You're going to come in and you're going to take over some cases, and we're going to put you out there. You're going to do depositions. You're going to be in court." Da, da, da. And they wouldn't allow me for a year. They wouldn't even allow me to talk to a single soul.
No.
A single soul.
No.
Other than my own boss. You cannot talk to anybody. And I'm like, I'm not meeting clients. I'm not meeting witnesses. I'm not nothing. No. I'm just doing
Grunt work.
bullshit.
Grunt work.
Okay, grunt work. Okay.
Legal opinion letters and
So I'm still coming in, and I'm doing my work every day, and I'm getting my hours in, but I'm not wearing what they want me to wear. So this is what you remember, sir. The purple shirt.
The purple shirt.
So right. So I wear these pastel shirts. I had like this pastel colors, including one purple shirt.
it was quite purple.
All right. So my boss comes in one day and says, "Listen, you're not portraying the corporate image appropriately, and we see you coming from the parking lot." Right, that was the thing he said. "We see you coming from the parking lot wearing this like stuff." It's like, so I'm under surveillance. I mean, that's another thing. Like, oh, fuck. And we need you to.
That's scary.
Wait, right. We need you like our clients see like who comes into the office, and I'm like, you don't let me see clients. I'm in a fucking hole doing your grunt work, you fucking bastard. And you hired me to be a litigator, and you won't even let me out of my fucking little 2x4 fucking hole you got me in my fucking office. Okay, all right.
We went from a radio show to The Irishman.
right. Yo!
It's like,
all right, so it comes down to like the fantasy football league.
yes.
And hey, you want to participate? Yeah, I'll participate. And I had just gotten a lecture that I should no longer wear my pastel-colored shirts because my pastel-colored shirts are not conservative enough. They're more plaintiff lawyer shirts and wear a defense firm. Okay, I'll wear white. Fucking A, I'll wear white. I'll be a team player. God damn it. Now we're in this fantasy football draft. We're in this big conference room. There's like 15, 16 of us, like drafting our teams. And we're going down the line first before we even get draft. Like, what's going to be your
What's
team
your
name?
team? Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to be the Tigers or the whatever. I'm
Gators.
I'm just going to be whatever, just basic name. And then it got under my skin that I'm sitting here participating in this fun activity for the firm when they won't let me be myself. Right? It just hit me at that moment. So when it came to my time to select my team name, and to my right is my boss, the one that chastised me for wearing pastel colors shirts. "What's your team name, Richard?" And I turned to him and I looked at him and I go, "The Purple Shirts."
And then he got fired. And then he was fired.
Yeah, for real. And then he was fired.
Oh my lord! Back in the day, I couldn't wait to get out of there. We're going on so many tangents here.
You're like,
You're right.
right.
Here, another tangent. Okay, so I met Jason early on in the firm. I'm like, oh my, Jason's like, salt of the earth guy. God bless you. I'm so glad we still have our friendship. Salt of the earth. I'm like, I love this guy. All right, so we had developed a friendship, and we realized that there was this place, maybe 3 mile drive, 2-3 mile drive,
Yeah.
from our office.
Yeah, town and country.
Called Paisanos.
Paisanos. Yeah.
Paisan.
And it was basically a
It
buff.
was CC's. It was CC's.
It was a higher class CC's.
Not even.
It was.
I don't
No,
know.
because it went out of business.
CC's is
It didn't last very long. But okay, now mind you, we discovered this place. And we're like, fucking hey, it's like $3. We can all you can eat. Like fucking hey.
$3?
We would go there. How many would go? We would go like 10 people. Would go. It was like all these
Right.
kids.
We went, oh my god. Okay, all right. So now we had. Now this is 1998. 22 years ago.
Yeah.
And we still had the intranet where you can like instant message each other.
Yeah.
Right?
We didn't
The
have the
AOL.
internet. We had to go through our email system had a private mail system,
like an
or
instant
whatever.
message.
Instant
Yeah,
message
yeah.
system.
I remember
All right, so this is the funny thing Jason used to do. All right, so I'd be sitting in my office and I'm like, I'd see it pop up on my screen, P, like what the fuck, and then like 30 seconds later, I, E, Z. So he was like priming. He would spell out Paisanos over like an hour period of time. So that by the time it's like 11:30, we're all motivated to go to
I want a
I've
paisano.
been thinking about it the whole day.
Right.
Y'all
Oh,
was
those were
funny.
the good old days.
Oh, it was fun.
No,
It
not
was
the good
fun.
old days.
It was.
All right,
It was days.
So let me tell
It
you.
was old days.
All right, so I'm going to get you home.
I'm not
I'm
worried
gonna
about
get
it.
you
I don't have a
home. Okay, all
curfew.
right.
I don't
All
have a
right,
curfew yet. It's the curtain.
This-
It's Florida. I don't
All right,
have a
so
curfew.
this firm had two tracks to become partner.
Oh my God.
One was the equity partner,
Yeah.
and one was the
Non-equity.
non-equity partner. Okay. The equity partner was the one that was really going to put in the effort and like become an ownership of the company.
Ownership
right?
interest
And the
partner.
other partner was, okay, if you put enough hours and show you're devoted to the company, maybe we're not going to make you an owner,
you're not gonna be
but
an
we'll
owner.
give you a salary increase and make you a partnership that way. Okay. So Jason took the, as far as I understood, you correct me,
I was
Jason.
going for it.
He was going for the equity partnership. So Jason was actually on a different area. Like you weren't even close to my.
I was on the 11th floor. And
You were on the 10th floor,
I was
so
on
I
the
would have to
10th
go up to
11th
his floor,
11th floor.
right? And like whenever I would see him, rarely, but whenever I'd see him, I would go up and I would go into his office. So funny to me. Every day on his computer, he would have a sticky note, and the sticky note would be the number of hours he would need to complete daily for the rest of the month.
That's right.
To make the
And
monthly nugget
It kept going up.
to become equity partner.
That's
so
right.
it started out like, okay, shit, I got to get 8 hours of.
No, it was
actual-
never that high. It was always like 6.4.
No, it was way. No,
never
it was
hi-
more than
it
that.
was never.
No,
you
no,
couldn't work
dude, you're
that
wrong.
much.
I can't say he's wrong. He lived it. Okay. But whatever it was
high.
it was like, I had to go home and I had to do this and that. So I know I had to do whatever it is. Like my goal was my memory.
I always readjusted the.
I'm going to
I
go
always
by
came back
my
and-
memory.
All right,
So,
go.
correct.
Let's use your
My
name. Memory
memory
is
is
probably
like,
more
oh,
fun.
I have to
not
average
true, but it's
7.8
fun.
hours to make equity partner for this month. And then the next day I'd walk into his office. I'm like, hey, he's like, I see the sticky note. Like his goal would be like 8. Like what happened? God, I had to leave at like 3:30 yesterday. So now I have to work 8 hours every day. Get out of my office. I gotta work. It's so classic. And I'm like, okay. So the funny, because my experience when I joined the firm, they asked me, "What do you see yourself being? On what track do you want to be?" Because they told me about the 2 different tracks, and I said, "Oh, I'm definitely not equity. I was married and I had 2 kids, and I got babies, and I'm like, there's no way, and I want more kids. I said, there's no way I'm going to be this guy that's going to be devoting.
Yes, I can't be here that long.
I'm not going to be at the office 60, 70 hours a week to make my 55 hours a week.
And
right?
keep in mind, remember, my number was because I didn't want to come in on Saturdays. Remember the obligation that was like
I have another story about Saturdays.
the what I was essentially told is if the partner is in the office, you're in the office. And remember who my partners were. I mean,
you're
at one point in time it was
you were Pappas.
That's right. I had Pappas and I had remember Odom.
Yeah.
and Levitsky.
You were under more pressure than I was.
Levitsky.
I think.
Remember Levitsky? Was that his
I
name?
don't remember.
Matt Levitsky?
I don't remember.
Litsky.
Yes.
Litsky. He went over to another firm. Anyway, these guys were ballers. I mean, they were there all the time. Odom didn't have anything going on in his life and had like nothing on his desk ever.
And there were a couple of people there at the firm, I can't remember the names, that did zero, but were billing like 2,400 hours a year.
We know those people, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I won't mention them.
No, we're not going to remember that. But there were our
bullshit.
friends who were...
Okay. Anyway, so I was
Yeah.
told at my interview, if you choose to go the non-equity
route.
partner, right, and just be the grunt, you can make your salary partnership. No problem. That's your choice. We have these two tracks for the purpose. We recognize that some people have
different goals.
different goals. Okay. As soon as I started tracking towards the non-equity partner, I got the weekly meeting. Where the fuck are your hours? I'm like, I'm tracking for a partnership here. I'm not even like not tracking. And by the way, when I came to the firm, I brought business. That was another thing.
I remember that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I had a
yeah.
big dispute with the firm. I brought business to the firm. I came from another firm, and I brought clients with me. Now, they weren't the typical clients they handled, but the clients didn't want to stay at the firm I was at. They wanted to come with me. So I had to tell the firm, they're not staying with the firm that I was at. They want to come with me. Will you let me finish those cases? By all means. Finish those cases. Handle them. Okay? As long as they're
But
hourly.
they didn't want to account for those.
Right. So I ended
credit.
up settling, like one of my best cases, I ended up settling it. Right? And I was gracious to the firm. And I said to my new firm, yeah, you can get the settlement fee. That's fine. Normally, when I was at the other firm, I would get a big my prior firm would get a big bonus for bringing. You can take it. So I told my client they're going to take your fee. I mean,
Oh my God! I
you remember
cannot-
this?
Yes.
I said so you're going to get it was like $75,000 in your pocket. Okay, settle this case for you. You're going to get $75,000. The firm is going to take all of it. My new firm. Now, if I was at the old firm, I would be getting a bonus of like $15,000,
Yeah.
right, from my old boss. So I told my client that, and he's like, is anything preventing me from personally giving you your bonus?
Shouldn't be, right?
I said, no. I said, if you want to give me a gift of like thank you for all your hard work, here's $15,000 out of your settlement. As long as this firm, my new firm, is getting what
Their percentage.
Their
they're
getting what you brought it. Okay,
That seems
all right.
unfair.
then you
but
should be able
nonetheless.
to
Okay.
get whatever.
So I send an email.
Why I
to
got
my-
a feeling this went bad?
This went really bad.
Oh my God!
This
Like,
went
I'm
really
getting,
bad.
I'm getting angry. Like,
This is
Right.
this is ass end of
Right,
a banjo box.
So
This is ugly.
I
This is ugly.
tell my clients by email.
Yeah.
I said, you have every right to give me whatever you feel like I deserve as a bonus. Now, by the way, as a side, no one believed in this case. I believed in this case.
That's even worse.
Okay, right?
It was the Trump victory case. He won it back.
Right. This is to the credit of Butler Burnett, by the way. They said here, we're gonna give you a paralegal. We're gonna
Fight it.
fight this fucking shit. Get the most in the money you can get. We're gonna do put together a settlement package and a PowerPoint for the mediation.
They did.
They did work.
They had
They helped
the
me
skill.
work this
They
case.
had a lot of skill.
They had a lot of skill, and they made it work for me to get the settlement in.
Yeah.
But that's why I said, you take all the money.
Yeah, you deserve. You
Take
help
all the
me.
money. I'm just paying a salary. I'm not going to get a percentage. I was on a percentage before, so you take all the money. Then my client says, "When are you going to get a third of my case?" Yeah. Are you going to get now? No. Can I give you something? Can I give you a personal gift? Because I know you fucking went to bat for me. I said, you can give me whatever you want.
Yeah.
Personally. Okay. As long as the firm is getting what they thought they would get as a result of me coming over. So they found out that my client gave me
Oh my God! Do not keep
this side thing. So I get called into an office meeting. And they were like, why are you accepting this money from your client?
Why
I said,
not?
you got what you thought you were going to get. My client's gifting me for the hard work I put in for the 2.5 years I had the case before I even came
Yeah.
to your firm. Okay? What is it to you? You wouldn't have got the money in. You wouldn't have gotten anything if it wasn't for us.
Exactly.
So you get nothing. We demand that whatever gift you got.
Oh
comes to the
hell
firm.
no!
This is a firm. This is a firm that we. I said they make they make like $15,000 a second.
Oh,
Right,
lots
right,
of-
right. Like, and they
I
want
would
my
follow
pocket.
someone home for that. Like, oh no, we're gonna meet your family tonight.
Yeah, that's the firm we were in,
Oh my God!
and I was like, what?
so you got nothing?
I got nothing out of it.
Oh, how much did they try to give you?
I don't remember the exact number, but it wasn't a tremendous amount.
It's like $5,000 or something. More than that?
$8,000 or something like
Still,
that. They took
no.
out of
See,
my
that's
pocket.
like seeing.
Now, mind you, I was having babies at the time. I'm like, I'm going to use this money to
Yeah, you were spending it before you got it.
right. I didn't need it personally to like
Still,
I'm going to
no,
go on a
that's-
vacation. I was like,
see-
I got to put it towards my family.
Now, did you give it to them, or did you be like, nah, forget you
well,
guys?
to keep my job, I had to kowtow to the firm.
Oh,
They were
There's
threatening
a
my
lot
job.
of bad blood there. Yeah.
it's because of the purple
Rich didn't
shirt.
last
It's
long.
obviously because of the purple shirt.
No, I wasn't a big team player, was I?
it was because of the purple shirt. That's what you put
purple
the target
shirts.
on your back.
Yeah, right.
If you would have just went with your white button up, you would have been fine. You probably would have got $10,000.
I still don't know how they figured out you got the money.
I would have been mad.
No, because the client, he, against my wishes, he didn't send it to me personally.
You got it.
Okay, so they put it in the.
He sent it
total.
to the firm and asked for it to be dispersed to me. And the firm said, we're holding on to it and not giving it to you.
I would kill.
No, but that's...
He was trying to be on the up and up.
Yeah, he was trying to like try to thread the needle, as they say. Like, okay, I want Richard to get it, but I don't want him to get fucking fired either.
Yeah,
Well,
but
he
still,
almost got fired.
It's like you getting robbed. You got robbed.
I got robbed.
But it was greedy. That should have been
No, that's
they
the
should have.
greedy.
You know what they should have done? They should have rejected the money. They should have given it back to the client. They should never have taken that.
Yeah.
No, that's money though. They're gonna take it.
Well-
no, that's bullshit.
Okay, so
I mean, I
that's
remember
what I
this.
argued.
Ugh.
I got called into a meeting about it, and I said,
And they tried to
what
get you in
would've-
trouble for
I said,
it?
if you rejected the money, if you would have said, we're not taking the money, send it back to the client, what would have prevented my client to say, hey, let's go to dinner at
Yeah,
Burn
and then-
Steakhouse,
and
and,
bother-
and he hands me the cash, and you can do nothing about it.
Exactly. So you were trying to do it the right way, and they were like,
Right,
"Nah,
I was
screw
trying
you."
to let you account for it and say, hey,
You should have
Richard
knew
deserves
something
it.
was up from beginning.
Right. That's what I was trying to do. I said, why couldn't you just say, hey, we got what we wanted out
I'm
of
talking
it.
about before that with the purple shirt. As soon as they told you no, as soon as they told you no with the purple shirt, I'm out.
Now, here's something our audience doesn't know.
We still have an audience.
have
We
an
got
audience.
one left.
Okay.
It's
So I left the firm,
Maybe they fell asleep.
and Jason stayed at the firm.
I did.
And I took a case on a mold case
Oh yeah. Yes.
regarding a gentleman who went on vacation from his condo.
yeah.
And when he returned to his condo, it was filled with mold. And he put in a claim and said, like, oh, my God, this. Right?
And I was the
Yeah.
attorney that had to
And we're like,
investigate.
no, like, this shouldn't have been mold. And so they defended the mold case.
Okay.
Butler, Burnett, Pappas. And who was the attorney on the other side? Jason Ricardo. He was opposing counsel to me.
Against you?
Against me.
Who
And
won?
I beat his ass.
You lost the head-to-head.
No, it's
I don't
settled.
remember. I don't
So
remember.
you were sided.
It's settled. It's settled out.
So
I
who
beat his
but,
ass so bad he
But
had to
who was
settle
with who was with the good guys?
I
'Cause the
was.
good guys
I
is
was
the guy
good
that's
guy.
coming home like, yo,
I
why
represented the condo owner.
the evil corporation?
I
No, I
represented the.
represented the individual.
Yeah,
I left the Butler Burnett.
and
I
you
was representing-
ended up.
I
in the
was
same-
protecting all the shareholders of the, the mom and
Insurance
pops
company.
and of the company that protects all the insurance, all the all the
You
mom and
can't even-
pops.
You're so guilty you can't even honor it. No, but it was fun because we went to mediation, and it was funny because part of it was Jason was still a young lawyer back then,
Yeah.
and Pappas
Yes.
actually joined you at the mediation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he did. I remember that.
Right. And I'm like, we're at mediation. I'm like, oh, he's going to have to. You did good, man.
All right, thank you.
You did good.
All right, I
You did
appreciate
good.
that much.
We didn't settle into mediation.
No.
We ultimately settled it. But it was kind of freaky. in a way.
Interesting.
I had to ride with Pappas all the way from Tampa in his car to the mediation, and that was unnerving as all.
How long was that drive?
Well, it was from Rocky Point all the way into Clearwater, downtown
Oh.
Clearwater. So it wasn't that
25
far.
minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
20
But-
minutes.
Just long enough to be awkward.
I had to travel a few times with him, and he's not.
He's a maverick kind of guy. So you got to understand.
He's a man of few words, and he's he's.
So let's go back for a moment, because while we're still on the air, when we had to do the Christmas.
You're missing. Before we get to the Christmas skit, we got to talk about the meeting.
Okay,
About-
go ahead.
Remember the meeting with Andy Patton?
Out of the Southern District of Louisiana.
So
whatever it was.
I'm working for this attorney. I'm working for
This is
this
hilarious.
really
You listen to
really
this.
smart partner of the firm, John Pappas. Super brilliant, super
brilliant.
ethical. I really like this guy. But we are like oil and water. He's just like so wow, like on point all the time. So he sends this email, which is firm wide, that says we're having a meeting at whatever time. Anybody who has any dealings with class actions
Class action
or
experience.
whatever class action experience or whatever, meet us in the meeting. Meet us in the boardroom
main
at such and
conference room, the
sub
boardroom,
at
yeah.
right, and we're gonna have a meeting. So I'm there not because I'm there. I'm not there because I know anything. I'm there because he told me to be there. And then there are other people. I think
Okay,
you're
so now
there.
I've done class actions before.
You've done class
So I get
actions?
this email. It's mailed out to the firm. He doesn't know me. But I'm like, I'm going to show up at the board because I know how to handle class actions.
and then
I
Andy
did a couple.
Andy Patton's
Okay.
there.
Right. So Andy Patton, who doesn't know him
Andy
either.
Patton, this young new attorney. He's like Mr. Eager. Remember
Yeah,
how he
right. I'm coming in.
And he's
I'm gonna
like-
be impressive.
And
He's
he's
gonna be-
like,
right.
so John is at the. He's just.
Oh, this is hilarious.
He's like this reserved, tall, very serious person at the
he's
front of the
very
room.
serious. Like he's
Mustache, at the front of the room, and he's like, "Okay, gentlemen, we're and he's like that."
Right. So in the office, there's maybe 8 people total, maybe 6 to 8 people in the conference room.
In the
at board.
conference room? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And me, Jason, Mr. Pappas, 2 or 3 others, and
Yeah.
Andy Patton.
And Andy Patton. And Andy Patton just pops up like, "Yes, sir!" Blah, 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 blah. It starts just rattling on like a little chihuahua.
I can help you.
And and John Pappas just literally like, looked up.
Turns around, looks at him.
Turns out and he looks down and he
Who?
blinks at him. He goes,
Who the fuck are you?
So he says literally like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oh my
to
God.
to his associate. He's like been there like 2 weeks.
He's like, "I'm Andy Patton."
I'm gonna help you.
Oh my god!
fuck
it was one of the
you are.
funniest things.
Sit down.
It was so funny. He's like, "Okay, pipe down."
So here's the funny thing: it's like I'm
Shut
thinking
the pipe
there's
down.
no way I'm gonna end up being like hired to help Pappas in this effort to defeat a class action, and I ended up doing it, which
Yeah.
was weird because
Yeah.
he's like,
It was
okay,
unique. It was
this
a
is
unique
filed
situation.
in the Southern District of Louisiana. We need someone to go to New Orleans, and we need someone to argue that this shouldn't be a class and should be dismissed. And I'm like, I can do it. I can do it. And he's like, who? Like, he didn't say who the fuck are you. He was like, so what's your experience? He didn't question me. I'm
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
I said, I worked at a law firm. I did this class action stuff, and I can do this. And he's like, okay, you fly out tomorrow. Right? It was like immediate. Like,
That's right.
you got to go to the
ASAP.
Southern District of Louisiana tomorrow and argue that this case be dismissed on the account of what was it? Was the largest AIG,
Yeah,
the
that's
largest largest insurance business in the country
Yeah.
was sued, like in this massive class action. So I was like, what? Like like all of a sudden I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What did I
It wasn't
bargain
that
for?
soon. It was like you got to go next week, whatever it was. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like the next day.
Yeah, he gave you time.
Right, he gave me a little time. So I had to meet with a team, and I had to fucking develop a plan, and then I had to fly out there. I had to meet a local lawyer that was already hired. Another law firm was handling it locally, but they wanted an attorney from the Tampa office to be out there. So this is 1998, right? So
89,
I got
88,
my,
98,
I got my
99.
degree in 91, right? So I'm not really a very experienced lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm telling Pappas,
I got this.
I've done these nationals. So he
I
sent me
got
out
this.
there, and then I was thrust into this federal hearing. Like, Mr. Meyer is representing a
Oh, so it's a federal case now.
federal case.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny that I look back on it.
He wore a
'cause-
purple shirt.
Because right now, it would make me more nervous today than
Yeah,
it would
as-
then.
as-
Yeah, you,
'Cause then-
you didn't know enough to be
I
scared.
didn't know enough to be scared then. It's true. That's dead on true.
Yeah.
I'm
believe
practicing
that.
30-something years now, and
Yeah.
I'd be far more nervous now if someone said, you got to go to this
You gotta-
hearing.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, we have two people now.
Ooh.
How did we
got
get
two.
two audience?
It's probably somebody's wife wondering where they're at.
Yeah.
Just making sure I'm still here.
All right, 9 o'clock. All right. So this is conservative parents
Oh,
with
my
liberal
face
kids.
hurts.
Oh, my God. We shared some good
We
stories.
got to finish the story next time.
I know.
That's
That's where the real meat
There's-
is.
Yeah, we got to go back and listen to see how we got to this point. Because
Okay.
it was something that was happening, and then
By all
straight
means,
off.
man. We should do some of this stuff more often.
I love it. It
Do a
was
little bit of
hilarious.
politics.
Light
Do
it
some
up.
more
Oh, that
personal
was
stuff.
funny.
Okay. Conservative parents with liberal kids. My name is Richard Myers. I am of the Myers Firm, PA. You can look me up on Facebook, the Myers Firm, PA. G8TRATTY on IG,
What's
Right?
IG?
Instagram.
Oh,
That's
never heard
how
of
Oh,
it.
my
cool
God.
people say Instagram.
Oh my God!
I guess I'm not very
Purple
Chase
shirts.
it.
It's not a purple shirts.
It's the
Say
purple shirts of
Instagram.
I'm at
Instagram.
purpleshirts.com.
Purple- you should know purpleshirts.com.
And my practice is largely devoted to representing victims of discrimination, or if you are in a high conflict divorce and custody battles and whatnot, I can help you there. Jason.
Yeah, Jason Ricardo of the Ricardo and Waslick PL law firm. Where I can't rattle it off like you. We do collections defense and foreclosure defense for our clients who are in debt-related issues. We're at ricardolaw.com, and I'm at Jason at ricardolaw.com. No purple shirts required. There you go.
All right, and tell us about Flohio and what's coming up on Thursday. I want you to promote that one more
Tommy
time.
Chong, legendary Tommy Chong. It's gonna be it's crazy. I'm excited.
All right, so how is this being?
We are gonna have basically it's a Zoom meeting because he can't travel right now. He's out there in California, so the conservative parents with liberal kids is gonna have their feed. We're gonna have the Fool and Friends. They're gonna have their feed. We're gonna have Cover 2 Conversations. Basically, all the shows on the Flohio Radio Network will have an entry into this meeting, and you guys handle it.
Is
however you
Flohio
want.
sending us the Zoom link?
Absolutely.
When is that going to happen?
It's going to be an hour before the show.
Okay.
So if you guys want to get
Is it going to come to? Where is it going to come to?
probably you because I have your
No, but on my email, or how is it going to get to me?
however I figure it
Richard at
out. I'm
purpleshirts.com.
gonna instant message you. I'm gonna send it to you Facebook Messenger. Get your link. You click
then-
on it.
okay, all
If
right,
you
I'll
and Ricardo
figure it
are hanging out over at the bar over
I
there,
hope it works out because I definitely want to talk to Tom.
it's gonna be great.
Okay.
It's gonna be so great. Everybody's looking forward to it because he's such a just diverse person.
Oh yeah.
And everything that he's been through from the 70s up until 60s, 70s up until now, it's incredible. I found out so much about him yesterday. Just doing
When
a
you
little
watched
research.
that- when
yeah.
you watched it,
Just
yeah.
doing a little
That was
research. I was
awesome.
like, wow.
I
had
couldn't
no
turn it
idea.
off.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I was like, oh God, it's like 11 at night. I'm not
But
gonna
it's
watch it. And
intriguing
then
because
yeah.
you could see like what people had to put up with at that time.
Yeah.
So
He was
I'm
still
looking
guilty
forward-
as fuck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you look at it, yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
Tommy, I'm kidding you, man.
We love you, Tommy. But no, this Thursday, 6 p.m.
He is not listening to
3 p.m. 3 p.m. West Coast time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Y'all check it out. It's going to be a good time. Tommy Chong. That might be one of the biggest interviews we've had on the network. So that's why I wanted to get everybody involved. I want each show to put their own little spin on it.
Well,
so
our two audience will really be there.
it's going to be a good time.
All right, cool. We're out.
We out of here.
Out.
Round of applause.
Let's drop a bomb on kooks we put up in too long. Let's drop a bomb and prove that they were